Okay, this is 8.8 graphing parabolas in Vertex form, and we are on day 2. So this is the homework assignment that you had. There are 5 questions. Problem number 1 is pretty straightforward. We're going to find the vertex, and since it's in vertex form, we know it is going to be the opposite of whatever is being added or subtracted to the variable x. So we see positive 1. We know that the x value for the vertex is going to be negative 1. And then we know that the y value is going to be whatever is being added or subtracted to the parentheses. So I have a vertex of negative 1, positive 3. Negative 1, positive 3 takes me here. I know it's a upward facing because the coefficient of the quantity is a positive number. And so we have negative 1, 3 as our first point. That also puts our axis of symmetry at negative 1. So 2 is axis of symmetry. 3 is going to be find the y-intercept. We find the y-intercept by plugging in 0 for x into our equation. So y equals 0 plus 1, quantity squared plus 3. Y equals 1 squared plus 3. Y equals 1 plus 3. Y equals 4. So my coordinate is 0 because I plugged in a 0. And it produced a 4 for my y value. 0, 4 takes me here. And that is good because that keeps the U shape. Its mirror point would be 1 away on the other side. That would make negative 2, 4. And now we have 3 points. We need 1 more point. So we're going to pick a 4th point. 4 is mirror the y-intercept. 5 is going to be 4th point. So pick an x. We have used 0, negative 1, and negative 2. So I'm going to pick x value of 1. We plug it into the equation. Y equals 1 plus 1 quantity squared plus 3. Y equals 2 squared plus 3. Y equals 4 plus 3. Y equals 7. So I plugged in a 1 for my x, and I got a 7 for my y. So we will graph that 1, 5, 6, 7. So that coordinate is 1, 7. That is 2 away. So I will go 2 away on the other side, which takes me to negative 3, 7. I have 5 points. I can now connect the dots. Make sure you have arrows, and make sure your points are legible. You see how clear and concise and readable that is. I see my points. I see my coordinates. I see the axis of symmetry. I have my vertex labeled. I have everything that is being asked. This is a great question. So when we have this and we have to find the vertex, remember the x value of the vertex is going to be the opposite of whatever is being added or subtracted to x. So my vertex, my x value, my x coordinate for my vertex is going to be 4. And then I know that my y value is whatever is being added or subtracted here. Well, what's being added or subtracted to the parentheses? Nothing. So my y value is going to be 0. This was a great question. I'm glad I put it out there because it gave some people some things that make you go So 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0 would be here. I know that my graph is going to be upside down. How do I know my graph is going to be upside down? Because of the coefficient of the parentheses is negative. So now I just continue on. My next thing is my axis of symmetry. See, thank goodness I have those steps that I think about. I probably would have forgotten the axis of symmetry. So I'm following those steps. 2 is axis of symmetry, and you write it each time. This is really good memory aid for you. Y-intercept, x is going to be 0. So we have y equals -2 times 0 minus 4 squared. And there's nothing left there, so I was going to write a question mark. So let's simplify that. -2 times -4 squared. We're going to square before multiplying. So that ends up being -2 times -4 squared is positive 16, because -4 times -4 is positive 16. And that gives us -32. So my y-intercept, whoa, it's 0, -32. Yowzers. So I'm going to make a point down here. It doesn't have to be exactly 32 away. I'm going to write 0, -32. Now, if we're going to write its mirror point, we can do that even though 32 is way down there, even though I haven't counted off 32. I know that it is 1, 2, 3, 4 away from the axis of symmetry. So I know its mirror point is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 away from the axis of symmetry. That still takes me to 8 on my x value and -32 on my y, because my y value isn't going to change. So fourth thing is mirror my y. Fifth is going to be pick a fourth point, and I've used 0, 4, and 8. I'm not going to pick a number outside of 0 and 8 because that's going to be even further down. So I'm going to pick a number between 0 and 4 or between 4 and 8, preferably between 0 and 4, and I'm going to do maybe 1. Doesn't mean that I'm going to be on the chart. If I wanted to be on the graph 100%, I would pick 3, because I know 3 is going to be closer to my vertex. But I'll pick 1 in this case. So if we plug that in, we get -2 times the quantity 1 minus 4 quantity squared. So when we simplify, that's -2 times -3 squared, -2 times 9, -18. So when I plugged in 1, I got -18. So I didn't make it on the graph. So it'll be important that we still leave some space for our coordinates. So I know you can't erase, but these points are still going to be true. Those are still the correct points for the graph. And now I have 1, -18. So that's going to be somewhere around here, 1, -18. And then its mirror point is 3 away. So it's still going to be 3 away from the other side. And that would take me to 7, -18. So those might be some of your points. Maybe somebody did plug in a 3 or a 2, which gave you probably a point on the graph. So that's a tricky one. All right. My vertex is going to be 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be upside down again because of the negative outside the parentheses. I'm going to draw my axis of symmetry. I'm going to do my y-intercept. And let's plug that into the equation. 0 minus 2 squared plus 4. We get y equals -2 squared. We get the opposite of 4 plus 4. You don't really need parentheses here because... And then -4 plus 4 is 0. So when you plugged in 0, you got 0. So that is going to be my y-intercept. 0, 0. And it's 2 away, so I'll make it 2 away on that. That will make 4, 0. And now I can pick a point. I can pick 1, I can pick -1. 4 is mirror the y-intercept. And step 5 is a fourth point. So I'm going to pick x equals 1 because I'm going to make it easy for me. Make it easy. So if we plug in 1, what do we get? What's the equation? 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 quantity squared plus 4. So we get y equals -1 quantity squared plus 4. We get y equals -1. -1 squared is 1. And we get y equals 3. So when I plugged in 1, I got 3. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1 away. That is the point 1, 3. This is the point 3, 3. And it is upside down, which is good, because that's what I was expecting to see, an upside down chart. And that is number 3. Those could be the points that you should all have. The vertex is 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. It's going to be a U, so I will act accordingly. Let's have the axis of symmetry. Let's do our y-intercept, and let's plug it in. 0 minus 5 quantity squared plus 2. Woo, we get some big values. -5 squared plus 2. Y equals 25 plus 2. Y equals 27. So 0, 27. Yikes. Let's do, I kind of want to, I don't want to touch that. Let's do this. Let's just move it down a little bit. Let's move that graph a little bit. So I have 0, 27. So 0, 27 is going to be my y-intercept. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. So it'll be 5 away on the other side. That coordinate would be 10, 27. All right, pretty good. 4, we did mirror. And 5 is going to be the 4th point. 4th point, what do I want to choose? So I've used 0, I used 5, I used 10. I know 1's going to be way up there. Let's use 3. Yes. Let's do x equals 3. Why did I pick 3? I just picked it because it's a random number. It's close. It's not 4, which would have been really close. 3 is sort of in the middle, give it a better shape. So we would get y equals 3 minus 5. 3 minus 5 quantity squared plus 2. And that gives me, 3 minus 5 is -2 squared plus 2, which gives me 4 plus 2, which gives me 6. So when I plug in a 3, I get 6. 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did I do that right? I feel like I did something wrong there. 4, those are positives. Let's make the signs, sure the signs were correct. Yep, that's good. So 3, 6 is correct. All right, it is 2 away, so it'll be 2 away. That was 3, 6. So that will be 5, 6, 7, 6. And now we have, oh shoot, let's back that up. Yeah, that is ugly. Okay, that's the best we did. It is symmetrical. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. Oh, nah, that's what it is. 8, 9. Oh, no, that is 10. Yeah, we're good. That's all right. It's just because it went off the page. All right, last one. Vertex. Yikes. Look at that. 7 halves, comma, -1 half. Woo. Well, 7 halves is really 3 1/2, -1 half. All right. 1, 2, 3 1/2, and -1 half. That takes me right there. So it's going to be up, so I can write my point 3 1/2, negative 1/2. All right, we did the axis of symmetry is going to be right in between 3 and 4. Now, let's do our y-intercept. It's going to be plugging in a 0. Actually, we get away with a whole number here. So if we plug in 0, we're actually going to go, maybe we're not going to get it. We'll see. I don't think so. Y equals 2 times 0 minus 7/2 squared minus 1 and 1/2. That is some good multiplication there. So we get y equals 2 times negative 7/2 squared minus 1/2. Negative 7/2 squared is 49/4 minus 1/2. Now, we are multiplying 2 times 49/4. I'm going to cross cancel. That becomes 1. That becomes 2. Oh, it does work out nice. So we get 49/2 minus 1/2, which gives me 48/2, which simplifies to 24. So when I plugged in 0, I got 24. So 0, 24. Again, that's going to be way up there. So let's do this. And let's do, we'll just post that there. What was my coordinate? Was 0, 24. So 0, 24. It is 1, 2, 3.5 away. So I'm going to go 1/2, 1 and 1/2, 2 and 1/2, 3.5. So that would be on that point. I just did it in that. I just did it here just so I could count with the grid. I couldn't do that up here. You understand what I mean by that? So that would get me to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that would be 7/24 would be a point. And now I have to plug in a value. So what value is going to work for me? Well, because I'm pretty sure that any value is going to work because we're squaring it. So let's just try it. I'm going to try, I don't want to do 3. Let's do 2. Let's try 2. So 4 was mirror, and 5 we'll do over here. So what is 4th point? I'm going to plug x equals 2, and we have the equation y equals 2 times the quantity, 2 minus 7/2 squared minus 1/2. All right. So if we do that, we get y equals 2. Now 2 has to be in halves because we have to, so that's 4/2. 2 is equivalent to 4/2 minus 7/2 squared minus 1/2. So we get 2. 4/2 minus 7/2 is negative 3/2 squared minus 1/2. Right, yeah, that's good. Now we have 2. Negative 3/2 squared is 9/4 minus 1/2. We're going to cross cancel because we're multiplying 2 times 9/4. That becomes 2, that becomes 1, and that gives me 9/2. Y equals 9/2 minus 1/2, which gives us y equals 8/2, which equals 4. So when I plug in 2, I get 4. Does that work for my graph? 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks good. That is 1.5 away from the axis of symmetry. So that is 1.5 away on the other side. So we got 2, 4, and we're going to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. That's the other point. Those could be your 5 points. I want to be able to see your work. Notice how organized my work is on the left. If I ever had a question, I could go look at a specific location to make sure that it is that I can check it, and if it has a mistake, or at least the authenticity of your work. Good luck.